Okay, Ed, you know what to do. It's the Tommy Feldman Happy Hour.
We're happy.
All right, you guys, we did it. We did it, Joe. We made it to Friday. That was my horrible impression of Kamala Harris. But anyway, we did do it. We are here. It is Friday. It is happy hour. And welcome to the show. This is the Tommy Feldman Happy Hour. It's a talk show. We interview comedians. We find out what makes them tick. We get this behind the scenes view of their comedy. And we just have a great time. So if you're watching live, welcome. We are taking comments live throughout the show. So if you hear something you like, or you hear something that sparks some interest, leave a comment, leave a joke. We'll read it out loud on the show. And it is time to get started here. So the Tommy Feldman Happy Hour always starts off with some news of the world. So let's go ahead and find out what's happening around the internet this week. Let's start this thing. Here we go. All right, you guys. So President Joe Biden, First Lady Jill Biden, and their daughters and grandchildren spent President's Day weekend at Camp David in the Maryland mountains. And when asked what they did, President Biden said, well, we played a lot of video games, including my favorite video game, Super Pac. Man. Super Pac. Man. All right. Politics and humor. Why not? Authorities investigating the disappearance of a fisherman in Queensland, Australia, found his remains this week, unfortunately, inside a crocodile. Later on, witnesses came forth and said that while he was being attacked, the victim shouted out loud, "See me in the bile, crocodile." A little bit of a dark joke there, a little morbid, but hey.
Yeah,
I had to find something
hard to
that would rhyme
digest.
with while.
I can't believe Florida man's dead. That's sad.
Exactly. It wasn't Florida man. It was actually Australia man. Australia
I
man.
thought you said Florida. My bad.
Yeah, my accent wasn't working that right. That was my horrible Australian accent, ladies and gentlemen.
That was pretty good.
All right. Police have arrested two people who had been wanted for shooting a fellow moviegoer. This is who had shushed them at an Atlanta movie theater last month. So the shushing, yes, was the dispute. Now, in the victim's defense, she was just shushing instinctively because she's a librarian. They shush. That was not a great one, but you know what? Figure out something. I thought that was interesting. Shushing leads to shooting. All right, maybe I should have gone with that. Okay, a pair of trespassers who breached security at Boston's Fenway Park and posted a TikTok of them playing baseball on the diamond over there are being sought by police, authorities say. Now, police are focusing their efforts on local Boston suspects. Because in the video, the men are clearly heard saying, "Welcome to Fenway Park. This TikTok is going to be a wicked pisser." That's how they knew they're Boston guys. I hope we have no one here from Boston that can correct me, right? So I'm okay, right? Okay. Pisser. All right. And last in the news here, two men were charged with pretending to be federal marshals to evade mask requirements at a Florida hotel. So here's your Florida men, Eric.
Yes.
Here they are. Now, employees at the Wyndham Resort had asked the pair of men to cover their nose and mouth to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. But instead, they threatened to arrest the hotel workers and impose a fine on the hotel. So now they're in trouble, big trouble. But on the bright side, the pair have been offered work as spokespersons for nicotine gum. Yeah, can you see it? This is what happens when you smoke. This is what happens when you quit. Use nicotine gum. All right. And that is the Tommy Feldman Happy Hour news around the world. Give it up for the show. Give it up for me for just, I don't know if I nailed it this week, but hey, we always have fun here on the show. It's time to bring up do I hear a comment?
I was just going to say that librarian joke really killed.
Exactly. The dangers of shushing, you guys. Don't shush anybody. Unless you're a librarian, or even if you are a librarian, apparently, don't shush anybody. All right, you guys. So now we're gonna start doing some interviews. If I could figure out how to add a spotlight, I'm gonna bring up our first comedian guest tonight. And here he is. Dan West is here. You guys give it up for Dan West for coming up on the show. Now I'll just do a small introduction, but Dan, I'll let you go ahead and tell us about you. But from what I understand, you are from Indiana, Kokomo, Indiana, and that is where the song comes from, I guess, or maybe not. But you're currently a student. You've got an interesting background before that, I think, with the military, if I've heard that correctly. Veterinary.
Dogs and cats battling it out. It was crazy.
Veteran. They're not the same thing. My bad. But Dan, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us about your background and especially what got you into comedy?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm enjoying this so far. I do have a quick note for Eric. The Queensland thing could never have been Florida Man because Florida Man doesn't die. They have Santa Claus rules, like the Tim Allen movie, where when one dies, another one just puts on their board shorts and turns into Florida Man.
This guy, that is facts. That is correct. Right on. Thank you for correcting me because that is correct.
Indiana, Florida were practically twins. So I, like you said, I am a student. I am studying public relations because I figure if comedy ever recovers, that'll be a useful thing, similar skill sets, helping with marketing. And if comedy doesn't recover, then it's a job that I won't hate, that pays well. And I've been doing stand-up for about 12 years. I've been taking it seriously for about 8, but I first got on stage in October of 2008. I was 3 weeks out of the Army, and I was in my hometown of Champaign, Illinois. And the guy that got me into comedy, I don't know if he still does it or not. He was a Chicago comic. I went to high school with him, Colin Bullock.
Oh, I know Colin.
Awesome. Yeah, I went to high school with Colin, and he took me to an open mic. I was watching, and when we left the open mic, I told him some just super dark Army stories, like real just coping with trauma funny. And he told me I should get on stage at the next mic. And like looking back as a comic now, what he was trying to do was get me to stop telling jokes. Because he wanted to be the spotlight, but at the time I took the suggestion as genuine, and I went up the next week at the open mic, and it was awful. Turns out non-veterans and traumatized people don't laugh at jokes where the punchline is someone dying and you saying God just thought it was their time. But I got one laugh on a different joke, and it felt great, and it made me hungry to keep going. So I don't think I've taken until coronavirus hit. I don't think I've taken more than about 2 or 3 weeks off from at least getting on once. It's the best drug I've ever taken.
So you're the first comic we've had from Indiana, or well, I would dare to say maybe even much of the Midwest. I mean, so what's that like doing comedy there? And I thought I heard you earlier talking about you have to kind of travel day trips or short trips to a lot of the markets. But how do you keep your schedule full from that location?
Well, Kokomo is just not a great town. But what it is very, very good for is ease of travel to other places. I am less than a 4-hour drive from 5 major cities. So if I have some new stuff to work out, I can drive down to Indianapolis and I can still sleep in my own bed that night, and I can hit 2 open mics. I can drive to Chicago and hit for a weekend, probably 5 mics, and just try out some new stuff. But then the Midwest is really like New York and LA comics will talk a lot of shit. Am I allowed to say shit? I'm going to say shit a third time in one sentence.
It's cat's out of the bag already, so.
New York and LA comics will talk a lot of shit about the Midwest as flyover country, but this is where most of the audience is. There are dozens in any given state out here of small dive bars that want to see a comedy show. So it's not hard to get a booking. It's hit or miss on whether or not they'll pay you for it, but it is not hard to get a booking in the Midwest. It's a very different audience than a club audience. You're getting a lot rowdier, drunker people. I've had someone try to rush the stage a couple of times. But you can definitely perform easily in the Midwest.
Interesting. Well, that's good. An interesting point. I mean, sometimes it's good to be the big fish in a small pond, I guess you could put it, right? I mean, if you're in the Midwest, it's not like you got a lot of
competition. I will ask the big fish how he feels about it, because that is not this guy. Well, I am an average to smaller sized fish.
Well, you do have some good clips that you sent us, and I wanted to play one of them, if you wouldn't mind. So let's go ahead and let's find out a little bit more about Dan's comedy. Let me see if I can figure out how to. So I'm going to temporarily stop Ed and share my screen and find Dan's clip. Okay, you guys. So you want to tell us a little bit about this venue first before I play?
The Comedy Attic is one of the best venues in the entire country. They're famous. They're just a phenomenal club, and they're one of the clubs that's back working, and they're doing a really, really good job of keeping people safe. They've got audience size limitations. The comics are wearing masks. The audience is wearing masks. This was done shortly before COVID really hit here in the States. And like with almost any really, really good club, it is very easy to get on their stage if you sign up for their open mic. So now I can say I've done the Comedy Attic because one time I did their open mic. But the crowd, they were such a good crowd. They were ready for a good show. And like that's one thing that when you do a lot of road shows and a lot of small dive bars, you forget about a really good, fun, hungry comedy club audience, and that's what we got here. It was a lot of fun.
All right, well, let's go ahead and play this clip then. And so here's Dan West at the Comedy Attic. Okay, let's see if we can.
It's ridiculous. I got into a fight on Facebook because I'm a grown man. The fight started with them asking why I was in this mom's group. And it continued when I said I don't have kids, but I do have a cat, and that's harder. And they got very mad, but I stand by what I said. Your kid will eventually learn English. Meanwhile, for the next 13 years, I have to wonder if my cat's hungry or just decided that 5:30 is a good time for me to wake up. It's hate her. I also love her very much. These jokes are brought to you by last January when I lost my job and hung out with my cat a bunch. I got fired from a bad job. You know how much that sucks? Getting fired from a job you hate is like when your girl breaks up with you because she's tired of boning other dudes. They called me and they said, hey, this isn't working out. And I said, fantastic, I agree. Now the healing can begin. And they said, no, we don't think you should work here anymore. I said, again, same page, finally, but how am I going to pay my rent? And they said, no, you're fired. I said, that's very brave. And they looked confused. I said, well, I just think it's very brave to fire someone who knows you don't have an active shooter policy. That's how you find out how handcuffs feel in non-recreational settings. I did get a new job. I got a new job that I like very much. I don't like that they've already made me fire someone. They made me fire somebody because I work in a place with a drive-thru because I am crushing it. And I get called in to my boss's office, and my boss says, well, we caught one of our employees leaning out the drive-through window to smoke a joint out of a customer's car. And I said, what a hero.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Yeah, give it up for Dan on that. That's excellent. Let's see if I can.
Thanks.
So, you talk a lot about your job and career in your comedy, because some people avoid that, but I guess for you it's therapeutic, I suppose, right?
Well, when I was working full time, I made sure to never talk about where I actively worked, because that's a really good way to not work there anymore.
Yeah.
So there's definitely subjects that I don't get into. I make sure that I never talk about my active relationship, because my partner's not a comedian, and they didn't sign up to have their entire life talked about on stage. I don't think that's fair. There might be certain situations that I'll ask them about, but overall I leave my current relationship out of it.
That's
my current job, if I tell stories from it, I will pretend it's from an old job, but I'm definitely more of a story guy than a quick like one-liner joke guy.
Yeah, no, that's good. I think a lot of us do that. We tend to leave the job and the daytime life out of it just because you don't want it to get back. So that makes sense.
Want to be able to pay rent.
You want to be able to, we've known comedians. We've had comedians on the show who they talk about how they lost their job because somebody saw them at a show. But
I've gotten in trouble for it, but I haven't lost a job, fortunately.
Yeah. So Dan, I wanted to also ask you the last thing here before we wrap. If there's anything that you want to promote, tell people about for your comedy coming up, where they can see you, anything you want to plug?
Yeah, absolutely. On all social media, I'm at Dan West Comedy. I'm also a writer for drinkingwithpaul.com.
Oh.
And on Wednesday, March 24th, I'm doing a Zoom showcase. It's going to stream through my Facebook comedy page with just comics from all over the country. It's my birthday, and that's a weird thing to say as a dude turning 36, but it's how I guilted my friends into doing this show. But I've got comics from California coming in, some comics from Indianapolis, some from Fort Wayne, Indiana, one comic from Canada, which is going to be great. And it's a pay what you want show. So it's facebook.com/Dan West Comedy, and it'll be a really good time.
All right. Well, guys, give it up for Dan West for coming on and sharing his comedy with us. Now, Dan, don't go anywhere. Keep nursing the beers there, because we got the quiz.
Nursing, that's adorable. I've finished 3 since I sat down.
Oh, that wasn't 3. Okay. Well, keep ordering the beers then, and because we got a quiz at the end. Now, let's see if we could do a little bit of improv again tonight. We took a break with the improv last week, and tonight we're going to see if we can get some of our regulars to participate here in some improv. So let me replace the spotlight and add Ed to the spotlight. Do we have Sarish yet?
Can you hear me?
Let's see. We do not have Sarish yet. So it's just going to be Eric and Ed trying out some improv. All right. So now, the way we do improv on the Tommy Feldman Happy Hour is we do it as a kind of a contest between 2 improv comics, and it's called what's the official name of the quiz?
Questions only or something
Questions
like
only.
That? Yeah.
Questions only. Right. So questions only is we give them a situation, and they have to use that situation to ask each other questions. The first person to not ask a question loses. So in the past, we've had it go quite long, and I've had to just call it, and sometimes it just ends right away. So let's just see what happens tonight. Let me get up our trusty random word generator. So do you guys want to do a location, a relationship, or a word?
I'll let you call it, Eric. What do you want?
Let's go with a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. We have never tried that before. All right, let's.
I like it.
Here we go. Okay, so tonight's improv relationship word is teen and parents.
Nice.
Teen and parent. All right. Go ahead when you're ready, guys.
Why were you out till 3 last night?
Why are you always asking me these types of questions, Dad?
Why do you think it's okay to talk back to me, son?
What makes you think I'm your actual son?
What do you think I got all those paternity tests for?
I mean, how would I know? I mean, are you doing some kind of tax evasion?
Haven't you heard that I call it creative writing? It's not so easy, is it?
It's not.
Seems, isn't it?
It's
That was
quite
pretty good.
difficult.
That went several rounds, you guys. Pretty good. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, let's try one more. You guys have to. You want to do one more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure, what the
Yeah,
heck?
one more. You guys are on a roll. Let's do it.
That's right.
Okay. Do you want a location, a relationship, or a word this time?
Eric, you're going to call it again.
Oh man, I was gonna go with word.
Word.
Okay,
We're
word.
hip.
Here we go. And tonight's word is
Mother.
charity. Charity.
How many clubs do you think have dancers named Charity?
What would you think? Like maybe 50 or more? What would you say?
What do I look like? A truth teller?
I mean, obviously, have you ever been to a club where you didn't meet a charity? You know what? Here's another question.
Do you think some of them needed a little more charity?
All right, let's call that one. That wasn't a great.
Yeah, that was a hard one.
Charity.
Yeah,
Hard one.
it was not beginning at home, that's for sure.
Guys, great job. Give it up for the improv players
We
tonight.
tried,
still don't have a
right,
team.
Eric? Yeah.
We
I had
still
a lot
don't
of
have an
fun.
official name for our improvers, but
Well, and I don't think that Eric and I could be chai latte.
yeah,
No.
right. So we'll have to come up with a new name.
We could be Ebony and Ivory.
There you go.
That works. Mm-hmm.
Nice. All right. Well, it is time for our next comic to be interviewed. Let's see if I can find Laura. Let's see, where are you, Laura? Here we are. Okay, spotlight for everyone. And let me add. Okay, add spotlights to Laura. Okay, so we have Laura Hugg. You guys will give it up for Laura Hugg for coming on the show all the way from Chicago.
Thank you.
Laura, what I know is that you're from Chicago. I know that you've been doing comedy a long time, so you're another veteran, I guess you could say, but of the comedy world. And I know you've had some pretty good appearances in different venues. LA, I saw you had a clip from there. In fact, I think that's the one we're going to play. But why don't you tell us about your background in comedy and especially how you got started in comedy? That's the most important thing.
Okay. So how did I get started in comedy? Well, I guess I was in college and I was a theater major at Columbia for a while, and I wanted to do acting, but I wanted to do comedic acting, and I didn't really know like how. There was so much I didn't know about everything. And so my friend in one of my classes told me about taking improv classes. And I had lived in Chicago about 2 years at that time. And I just moved to Chicago just to come to a larger city to see what sort of opportunities there were, and ended up going to school for a while. And so I took an improv program that used to be part of the Second City, but then broke off for a while, and I don't think that they're in business anymore. It's called the Players Workshop, but a lot of people did it. And that's where I discovered improv. And then I did that for a while, and I stopped going to college, and I just continued to do that. And then eventually, after trying auditioning 2 times, I got into the conservatory at Second City, and that's when I started doing sketch, which I really like. And I've done a fair amount of sketch comedy and a fair amount of improv. And then while I was doing sketch, I tried my hand at stand-up, but I didn't stick with stand-up. I found it incredibly intimidating. And I didn't start doing it again until I turned 40. And when I turned 40, I started doing it. I started at least going to open mics and then being like, how do you get on that showcase? Right when you're not very good, you're like, I should be on every show, and then it sort of like, evens out.
Yeah.
So then I just continued to do some, sketch on and off and have groups, but then stand up kind of won out because it's, and I tried straight acting and stuff like that, auditioning here and there. I mean, I'm not super driven towards it, but I just kept doing stand up because one of the reasons that I did it was because it was a way to practice performing regularly that didn't cost a ton of money. And like taking classes, I like classes. I like taking classes. I like being with people who are interested, even if they're not all serious. Everybody's at a different level. But it's expensive. And so stand up was a way to be able to get stage time and keep that, that's those skills sharp. But I also, ended up being pretty good at it. If I can say that. I don't know that the clip that you'll get reflects my best set, but it was 2 minutes. So sometimes I get caught up in the administrative details of things, which is, I just had a talk about this with a fellow comic today about clips and websites and how intimidating I find that. But
well, a couple of interesting things about you, I find, just based on what you said and what I've heard also. So you kind of, like most comics, from what I've observed, is they'll do stand up first, and they'll attack stand up, and then they'll branch off and start realizing, okay, I better do sketches and others, improv. It's like stand up is a kind of a gateway, but you went the other way around. You sort of did acting, improv, sketch, then stand up. So it's kind of the reverse order, but then now you're sort of staying in stand up zone, I suppose. But that's interesting. So, I mean, I have sort of, I think, of maybe a broader tool set than other comics in that sense, because you've done it all.
Maybe.
So.
I mean, I was exposed to sketch comedy before I was exposed to I mean, stand-up obviously existed before Saturday Night Live, but like, I remember being a kid and watching Saturday Night Live, the first cast. And I was really young then, and then seeing the Canadian show, my mind is going blank, where John Candy started, SCTV, and then Fridays, I remember that show, and then, Carol Burnett when I was really little.
Yeah.
So those were my first, really, that kind of stuff was my first comedic influence. And also there were women there more. Well, there were women there. So I don't know, there were costumes,
well,
and,
I agree with you. I think that's more of a Gen X thing. I mean, if I may be so bold as to say, I mean, I'm the same way for me. Like my first exposures to comedy were all TV sitcoms and sketch and Saturday Night Live. Instead, SNL is still my favorite show. But why don't we can play the clip from the Laugh Factory that you sent, but we could also play some sketch instead if you want to show us something different, or it's up to you what you want to. Or
no, you can play. The clip is not from LA, it's from the Chicago Laugh Factory.
Okay. All
I
right.
just went to LA for my first time during the pandemic. I'm not bragging. I mean, I just happened to like meet a comic on an open mic, and so anyway, but this would be from the Laugh Factory in it was a couple of years ago, and it was actually there's an independent comedy show called The Kates, and The Kates, produced by Kelsey Huff and Amy Sumter. They produce a show where they book every female comedian in Chicago they will reach out to and put them on their showcases, and their independent shows. They did it at a bookstore called The Bookseller, which I would host and perform on a lot. They're great. And so, but then they sponsored, or, they had booked a night with in cooperation with the Laugh Factory. And so that this clip is from a Kate's on Broadway at the Laugh Factory.
All right, let's go ahead and play this 2-minute clip here from the Chicago Laugh Factory. Okay, Laura Hugg, here we go.
I do go to 12-step program. as well. I took a lot of workshops. People are like, what do you do now that you don't drink? I'm like, a lot of workshops. I take workshops. I was going to take a workshop on fermenting my own food. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. Yeah. I used to have gasoline, but you know, whatever now. That's also fermenting my own brain. Okay, there you go. I do go to 12-step programs, and I really recommend them. I think they're great. First of all, they're free, which is amazing. Nothing is free in this world, and they do work. The hardest part about going to a 12-step program is that they really encourage you to do the thing, to stop doing the thing that you went there to stop doing in the first place. And suddenly, when somebody tells me to stop doing something, I have never wanted to do it so bad in my life. I mean, oh my God, drinking rubbing alcohol, not just for breakfast anymore, you know? So, I think part of the problem for people too is that they're afraid that they're religious because they do talk about God. But they have this concept in there called higher power. They let you choose the God of your own understanding, you know, so they really let you pick whatever you want. I mean, in the end, most people just go with whatever their parents did, but okay, that's a dirty secret. So I was like, oh, really? I can choose my own? It's like, great. It's like a giant Sunday bar, but my whole life depends on it. That's exciting. So, and then you have these sponsors, right? And they have their same problem, and they try to get you to use spiritual tools. So I'll show you how. I'll leave you with this, how it works. So like my sponsor told me, you know, I told her, hey, I really hate this person at work. And she said, hate them? Wow, that's really strong. I think you should pray to God to see how you're like them. So I did. And now I hate us both.
That was great.
Thank you.
12-step programs, yeah. That's do you for real have experience with those types of programs, or is that?
I do have experience. I have extensive experience with 12-step and recovery programs. We'll just say that, yes. So
Okay,
that is a
great.
real, that is not an angle I would choose.
Yeah.
Although people often think I'm like, that's a lot of research to,
Right.
you know, sometimes people think I think like a lot of comics, sometimes they think that you aren't being honest, and some people it isn't, I don't know. They ask me if that's a bit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
God, that's not what I would choose, you know?
Excellent. Well, now I wanted to give you also, Laura, an opportunity to promote your comedy, anything else that you got coming up, or what do you want to tell the people watching, or as we post this to our page, what do you want to promote?
Well, I actually have a show that I'm doing with, it's called, can I look? So I'm doing this on my phone. So
Okay.
if I know we're streaming live, but I got to look at this picture. So I don't know what's going to happen out there, people, but I'm here with you. But I am doing a show on, and I'll put it, I'm, you know, Laura Hugg on Facebook, Laura Hugg Comedian on Facebook is my page. And then I'm at Laura Hugg on Twitter and Instagram. And on March 6th, I'm doing a show called Laughing Through Recovery.
Okay.
And it is of a similar, I mean, I am capable of laughing and making fun of things that aren't recovery related, but you know, if you've ever met anybody in recovery, they can always bring it back to how it affected them. So, you know, really the whole world is a trigger. But yeah, so I'm headlining that show on March 6th, and I will put it on my, I'll put it on my pages or whatever. And you'll see some other comedians that you'll see like in the Displaced group. That's how I met most of the comics. There's a Chicago comic, Kim Cook, on there too. So
great. All right. Well, we'll promote it on our website as well. Guys, give it up for Laura for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Your
It's
12-step,
fun.
your 12-step to recovery experience may be useful to you later on in the quiz hour. So we'll see.
All right.
This show, we'll see if that helps you at all. So let us move on to the very, very important part of the show where we give thanks to our sponsors. That's right. The Tommy Feldman Happy Hour it's free to you viewers watching at home, but it is paid for by the sponsors. That Eric Newton, comedian and all-around entrepreneur from the East Bay of the Bay Area goes and finds sponsors. So Eric, tell us about your new sponsors that are paying us this week.
Ooh, yes. So Tommy, I would love to. This week, the Tommy Feldman Happy Hour is brought to you by ESPN. Okay, really big sports brand, huge networks. We all know they have various different ESPN brands, right? They have ESPN, they have ESPN3, they have ESPN Plus. But I'm actually proud to announce they have a new service coming out. It's completely uncensored. You get to hear what the players, the coaches, the commentators, you get to hear what they really say when they think their mics are muted. It's going to be called ESPN Word. And it's going to drop. You guys can be on the lookout for the launch as soon as people care about sports again or whatever. So and finally, I do have some brand new sponsors to bring to get this. These ones I'm really excited about. These two sponsors actually go really well together. There we go. This week we sponsored with the Buddhist Temple of Alameda and Subway sandwiches. Okay, let me tell you why it makes so much sense. Okay, I only partnered with the Buddhist Temple of Alameda so I could get their 7-day free trial without a credit card. So that's pretty cool. But now that I'm a Buddhist, it's fucking awesome. I love being a Buddhist. Actually, next time I go to Subway, I can just say, "Hey, make me one with everything." And and that's our sponsors for this week. I'm gonna be back next week with new sponsors for you guys.
Make me one with everything. There you go.
Nice.
That's what the Buddhists are about. And actually, on a side note, Buddhists are, I think pure Buddhists are vegetarian anyway. And so you can get your veggie sub at Subway as well.
I almost put that much research into the joke, but
That is
All right.
work.
Great job. Well, guys, give it up again for Eric for bringing on the sponsors every week. Always a great job he does. So, all right, let's see if we can find our next guest. We're going to replace that spotlight. And we have Desirée Walsh, you guys. Give it for Desirée Walsh.
Desiree.
Now, just to be clear, you're not being paid. We're not being paid by Uncrustables for this.
No, they're
Here.
not a
Okay.
sponsor of the Tommy.
Okay.
Feldman.
Well, maybe in the future we can persuade them to Smuckers to.
I was thinking about that when I was watching the Eric do the little shout out to the sponsors. Yes,
Well,
I think that's a great idea.
We
Desiree,
find ourselves in a jam.
Yes.
Oh.
There you go. Okay. Desiree, so I have performed with Desiree recently, actually several times, and so I think I can say that well, I know that you're from Toronto, and you definitely bring a sort of Canadian flair to your comedy that we'll see a little bit later in your clip. But and I understand that you are sort of doing you're another veteran of comedy, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and especially like what got you into comedy? That's the most important thing.
Okay. Well, I've been doing comedy for about 5 years, and I started comedy because kind of the only consistent feedback I've gotten from all or most of my jobs are, you are very stupid, but very, very funny. And then like I was always like, yeah, it's true. And then like several friends and acquaintances have also been like, you're so funny, you should get into stand-up. And I was always like no, I don't even know how to reverse that dream. And then I discovered that Second City had stand-up courses.
Oh.
So I got a little bit of a better job, and I finally had disposable income. So I decided to take one of those courses. Yeah, and it's really interesting because I do use a wheelchair. You just can't see it because of Zoom. And I kind of thought I'd take this course and that would be it. And you get a little show at the end and like your friends and family can come. And yeah, I kind of thought like I'd do the show and we'd all talk about the time Desiree was a stand-up comedian for 8 weeks. And then it kind of snowballed into whatever the hell this is.
We had a Canadian comedian on a few weeks ago, Janice.
Israel off?
Israel off, and she did share with us a little bit about the scene. But it's always for us down here in America, we're always kind of curious about the comedy scene because there are a lot of really great comics that kind of come out of Canada, especially the Ontario area.
Yeah.
So what's it like doing comedy in Toronto? How's that work?
Well, I have a little bit of a different perspective than say Janice. Janice is my best friend in comedy, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, she's my comedy mom. I have a little bit of a different perspective, as I said, because I do use a wheelchair, and Toronto is not the most wheelchair accessible city. So it's been a little bit difficult in terms of there's a lot of venues I either physically cannot access or I need a lot of help to access said venue. But the actual comedy community it's very big. And pretty diverse, but there are some really nice people in it, and I've met a lot of really great people who like carrying wheelchairs downstairs, so that's been nice. Yeah, so it's pretty good, and it's a lot it's a lot bigger than I sort of anticipated when I started comedy. That was sort of one of the biggest shocks is there's two main comedy clubs in Toronto, Absolute Comedy and Yuck Yucks, and those are kind of the things that normal people know, civilians. And then but once you get into it, there's all these little bar shows and things, and it's I'm probably not doing a good job, but pretty good. Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, so I'll go ahead and pull up your clip here, which I assume is from somewhere in Toronto, but let me
It is not. It is from Zoom because
it is not. It is from
Desiree does not have a good press packet.
Let me find it here and see if I can pull up your clip here.
Yeah, it's a show I think based out of Chicago maybe, and it's Extra AF.
Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry. That's right. I did see this, and you're right. It is. Well, technically, it's in Toronto, right? I mean, it's your location in Toronto. So let's back it up a little bit there. Okay. So this was so this is the Extra AF comedy. This was Lolita D's thing, or who's the?
Yeah, she's the host.
Okay. All right. So this is it's called, the production company is called Lady Laugh Comedy. Yes, we've had Lily on before, and she's told us about her comedy venues for all female comedians. So let's play a clip from this. Do you want to say anything else about it before I play it, or?
No, I think we're okay. It's a lot of wheelchair jokes, but
okay,
that's kind of my brand.
All right, well, let's go ahead and play Desirée Walsh on Zoom. Here we go.
And it's been great for my self-esteem. Yeah. I am also disabled. I use a wheelchair. You just can't see it because of Zoom. I just wanted to let people know that, so you didn't think I was doing very specific, edgy material as an able-bodied white woman. I have noticed society treats the disabled different, and I have a hot take. It is my real life, and I'm actually really enjoying quarantine. And I know that sounds a little bit weird, but I really like it because now when I'm out, none of you walkies touch me. 4 times, apparently, I look like a shopping cart that needs to be returned to Walmart to you people. So it's been quite nice. Also, I no longer have to listen to people's stories in the grocery store about their friends in wheelchairs. Because in the before times, it was just I'm really sorry to hear about your friend Mark, but I don't have any information on wheelchair basketball. Also, it is midnight in a grocery store, and I am buying 3 types of cheese in Garfield PJs. I am obviously high. Please leave me alone. I am not disabled, Google, unless you have acid. Yeah. Before the pandemic, I was actually lucky enough to go on a date.
Woo.
Yeah. Well, you can cut the clip anytime if you want. A man sat down beside me in Starbucks and asked if I had any wheelchair basketball information. But I needed a win, so we're gonna call it a date. And myself and this man got to talking about disability and the media. And I told this man that I wish the media understood that people with disabilities do more than go to the bank and die.
Woo!
Great.
That was great.
Is that, I'm assuming that's based on real life. You do have a lot of people come up to you and, you know.
Yeah. It is actually based in real life. My wheelchair that you can't see because of Zoom, it has a really low back, and then it also has no push handles, and like the amount of people that will be like walking behind me who just decide that I need help, it's astonishing. And then they get mad at me for being like, oh my God, what are you doing?
I've always said that about Canadians. They're way too helpful. It's like, dude, relax. I don't need help right now.
And maybe it is just the Canadian way, but it's a little bit. It actually, it's not just a little bit annoying. It is annoying, and it has been nice that during the pandemic, everybody's so afraid to like catch this virus, and rightly so. It's very scary. To have people like kind of respect your autonomy and just give you space.
Yep. Desiree, your brand, that's true. Your brand is the wheelchair, but also it's Uncrustables.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your non-sponsorship with Spice Muckers.
Yes. I am currently not sponsored by Smuckers, but I should be. Someone please call me. I do not understand how social media works. I am 37 going on 100. So kind of my initial brand is like wheelchair jokes, but then doing so many shows with Americans, I've started to learn about American culture, and one of the big things I've been learning about is the food. And I was at an open mic one night, and some boys were telling, like after the open mic, they were telling a story about an Uncrustable, and then they were talking about Uncrustables, and I finally stopped them and was like, what are you talking about? And they told me, and I just, and then the next time I came back to the mic, I just did like this whole rant on like, wouldn't it just be easier to make a peanut butter sandwich, America? And then have kind of branched out into like other things I do not understand about America, or other things I am learning about America through doing Zoom open mics or Zoom shows with mostly Americans. And it's been great.
No, that's I heard some of that bit before, and I just I think that's you should keep working on in that zone, because we've got a lot of American culture is very certainly we have a lot of snacks and crazy things that are just unbelievable. You know, I think you had talked about one of the shows about how our cereals, like, you know, we have cookie cereal and marshmallow cereal, and we're the worst. Americans are just, let's be honest. I mean, we'll do anything to avoid
someone that works
effort.
Someone I work today, someone I work today told me they have an order for 20 boxes of Girl Scout cookies being delivered to their house.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Well, there you go.
I want to go there.
Now, Desiree, I also wanted to give you an opportunity to promote any shows that you have coming up, or anything that you want to tell people watching the show.
Well, I'm glad you asked, because tomorrow, which is I think February 20th, if time has meaning, I will be on a show called Mommy Needs a Drink, and that's at 9 p.m. Eastern. And I believe they have an event on Facebook with a ticket link. And then you can follow me on Instagram at desiree.lisa.walsh._ and I usually post all my comedy stuff on there as long as I remember.
All right. Well, we're gonna also post that to our Facebook page. But guys, give it up for Desiree Walsh for coming on the show.
Yeah, Desiree.
We got the quiz coming up right after Mr. Nico. So appreciate Desiree. Let me see if I can figure out how to replace and put in place Nico. Now because Nico was going to be on the show tonight, and because I sort of dropped a hint to the displaced comedians, we actually have 5 people still watching, believe it or not, which usually doesn't happen towards the end. I think Nico, we've generated some buzz around the
I could touch on some stuff.
yeah. So what is, without doing too much specifics,
Yeah.
what's going on in these displaced comedians and very large Facebook groups in general? What's going on?
Well, it seems as though when you gather about 6,000 people that have some similar idea to get together, not everyone's going to agree with how you handle stuff. It's crazy. And out of 6,000 people, there might be a couple people sometimes that you're like, this person maybe shouldn't be here for whatever reason. And you're going to have a bunch of people throwing things at you and saying, someone said this, and then this. And then it's like someone's watching the news and someone's like, hey, I heard this on the news. And then someone hears that person say that. And they say, that's more that person doing, like, no, you just repeated what you just saw. And meanwhile, I'm trying to objectively figure out the core of certain things. And that's kind of has led to some things and we figured out and doing some due diligence and stuff. So overall, I mean, still the group's pretty damn positive place. It's actually been pretty exciting seeing the cool opportunities popping up, like real opportunities where people are actually getting paid money to do comedy and different things. One thing I think is actually really cool that a couple of the very seasoned comedians who did a lot of live comedy, who are just excellent comics, have been doing is, and I think it's really neat, offering their kind of services up where you can like run jokes with them and help them do workshops. Some people did some of these already, and some like paid mics where you do some feedback, and some of them are unpaid, or I'm sorry, you don't get paid to do on it, but you're kind of paying as a service. But then some really well-seasoned comedians like Brian Barbecue, he goes by on there, for a very reasonable rate. You can run jokes with him and either like send him a joke and get some feedback, or spend an hour just talking, all these types of things. He's not the only comedian doing that, so sorry for anyone else that's posting that I didn't mention. But I think that's really cool, because for me personally, I've been trying to take this time to like just learn how to become better at this thing and have fun and connect. And I think that's a really cool way to utilize our resources and be able to connect so closely to each other. And one really cool thing too, because I do talk about Flappers a lot. Thursday nights I host on Flappers. It's really fun. I really have a good time doing it. And last night I was on, there's like 5 people I had never seen before that I hadn't seen on Zoom, and that's not super typical. Usually about 20 people in there. I've seen most of them, maybe 1 or 2. And then I felt like they were all connected in some way. And some I think were from New York. And like one guy had said he did a live show and he hadn't done comedy in about a year, and jokes he had done that he could just do in his sleep, like just his normal routine. It just didn't come out how he was expecting it, because he realized that, acknowledged it, and was like, that's why I'm here right now, because I realized I should probably be spending some time working on this stuff. And I thought that was really cool. Similar situation, other people. There's a comedian that was like, hey, I'm doing a show with some friends, hadn't done anything in a long time, figured I should actually, run some stuff and work on things. I think that's going to happen more and more as this technology is understood and utilized. And when we're past the pandemic, we're still going to be using it in different ways. And it's just really exciting and fun to see. And that also meant there was like 5 people that haven't heard all my jokes. So that was an extra time. And like Laura and Desiree here, who I see on Zooms all the time, and you're fantastic. I love hanging out and seeing. I'll probably see you tonight on other Zooms too. But anybody's not familiar, I started this group, Displaced Comedians, almost a year ago now, which is crazy to say. I said a little over 6,000 people. It could be 100 people, whatever amount. It's just I want it to be helpful and fun. And I got a spreadsheet on there that you can look at. There's about 200 Zoom mics, mostly on Zoom, that you can check out at pretty much any time of the day for the most part. And if you're in the group and you got a Zoom account and there's not one going, you just post, hey, I want to do a Zoom mic right now. And then like 20 people will be like, hey, let's go. And then hang out and have a good time. And I really like it.
All right. Well, I was gonna pull up the Displaced Comedians, but I think tonight, it was just good to see you check in. And we had some people writing in. Actually, your appearance did spark a couple of comments. Cynthia in public said, "Yas,
Hey,
Nico Lukov," and say hi. Basically, Cynthia says hi, and
hi, Cynthia.
Caffrey writes in, "Lots of luck, Ed." And so we have some people write. So you're a harbinger of good things, I suppose. I mean, we didn't really get into the details of of the controversy, but good to know that it's still functioning. That's the important.
Cynthia said hi to everybody else.
We're rocking, man. It's healthy. We're good.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right, you guys. So let's give it up for Nico for making the appearance. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Tommy.
And we also should acknowledge we have Sarish back on with us tonight. Sarish, why don't you wave hello? Here he is. Sarish is back. He's also a regular on the show. And now it's time for the Japanese commercial quiz show. And let me figure out what I got to do here. So let's see, I'm gonna spotlight, here we go. All right, so this is the part where we could just have a little bit of fun as comedians. And then for those of you that are watching at home, and there's actually quite a lot of you, 8 people still watching, this is where I take advantage of the fact that I used to live in Japan. And I still remember how funny it was when I lived there. The commercials, the Japanese commercials are amazing. I mean, they're really satirical, and the products are sort of like after the fact in some of these cases. So what I do is I play Japanese commercials for you guys, but I stop the commercial halfway. And then I let you comedians try to guess what it is the product is about. So, and usually the guests go first. So Desiree and Laura and Dan, you get first crack at trying to figure out what these crazy, wacky Japanese commercials are all about. So let us bring up, if we are all ready to go, let me just bring up my trusty, here we go. Okay. So, and
Uncrustables. Oh no, wait, that was the other one. Sorry.
if someone gets it right, I'm gonna just ring my little bell here. But until then, we'll just keep guessing. So everybody ready? Guests, you ready? All my guests are ready?
Yes.
Okay. First quiz of the evening. Here we go. All right. After this young man here in this video. Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. Anybody know who this is? This guy here. Let me play that again, just to make sure anybody recognizes this. You know who that is? Does anybody know?
Not a clue.
It's
No.
His name is Matsuoka. He's one of Japan. He's one of the guys. Except not now. Naomi Osaka is probably Japan's most successful tennis player, but this guy would probably be second. He made it to Wimbledon quarterfinals or semifinals or something like that. But anyway.
Oh, well, that obviously would have been my guess.
That would have been your guess. But well, what do you think? Dan, you want to take a guess? What are these black? I don't know. It's a lot going on here. What do you think?
I'm gonna guess that it is for a neck massager of some kind, like a muscle relaxer.
You're getting very warm. There's no mechanical component.
Yeah, because I've been drinking for hours. I'm very.
So you're
I took a break and went and got more beer.
Right, like, health and fitness and neck, wearing it on your neck, part of it. But there's something else going on here. Does anybody have any ideas? Laura, what do you think?
Well, I was going to say a neck massager, but that's code for, well, in this case, I think anal beads, but.
Laura, you have such a calm and cool demeanor about you, and then you just drop a bomb like that.
Who knew there was a 12-step program for anal beads?
Yeah, no, that's not what it's.
Don't anal bead
small. These beads are too small. Right, where's Desiree?
Speak for yourself.
I'm
here. No judgment.
Desiree, what do you think?
Initially I kind of thought the same thing as the other comics, including the anal beads part. So neck massager, but she's standing in, because you said the neck massager was partly right?
Yeah, it's definitely for the neck, and it's therapeutic.
Okay, because she's also standing in like a weird closet clothing area. Mm-hmm. So is it and I know Japan has some very different products. So is it a neck massager that also has like laundry pods in it, and like it's like a 2-in-1?
It's no, I mean it's.
No. I've got another guess. Is it a neck massager that is also a vending machine for used underwear?
Yeah, you know what? I didn't
products.
I didn't even see the commercial, but I'm gonna guess it's a can of coffee.
That's a callback.
What I want to know is her closet, does she live on at the edge of the tennis court? I'm confused about that
think
part.
so.
Like,
He does live
okay.
on
Housing in Japan is pretty difficult to find, from what I've heard.
happens.
Can we see it again? Can we get it one more repeat?
Yeah.
Made it Wimbledon.
Did you want to repeat, Nico? Do you want me to play it again?
Yes, please. I'm still
We'll
have no
never
idea,
find
but
out what the product is, but we'll have a lot of fun.
I'll
Not
try not to reveal the product. And by the way, we have a guest from Chris Caffrey, but I'm not going to say what it is because, and don't
Because he's
peek,
right.
don't peek, you guys, because Chris Caffrey already figured it out. So we're gonna.
I'm just gonna go look on Facebook right now.
Yeah, who hangs out their laundry during a tennis match?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Multitasking is important, Laura.
You're asking too many questions. It's not reality. You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Nico, did you guess yet? Suresh?
is it some kind of like no, dang it, because it was the massage thing was close. That's
Yes,
close and some
pretty
okay,
close.
so now I'm throwing off even way more. I was gonna say something like a pitch back, like someone's playing tennis and they want to like play against something that's not a real person and it's in the back or something like that. I have no idea.
Oh my
Massage
God,
thing?
Nico.
No idea.
I'm gonna guess it's a. Can I guess it's a shoulder thing?
Shoulder what? What do you mean?
Shoulder thing.
It's
Yeah.
basically you put it. You
It's a thing
put
for
it
your
up your
shoulders.
arm and put it around your
Tommy,
shoulder.
I think like
not
as
your neck.
usual, I think I know what it is.
It's definitely for the neck. It's
Chris,
definitely
You
therapeutic.
think? Is it some sort of? I think whatever those balls are, they have like healing properties. So like some sort of magnet or
Yeah.
or some sort of like
Okay.
energy. Stuff? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Sharish is so good.
But for the record, Chris Caffrey had guessed it already. Yes, it's magnets. So let me play the rest of the commercial.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Wait, is this Chris Caffrey
You
with
said
the
magnet?
I think he said
Flamingo
magnetic
down in
anal
Monterey?
beads.
シリーズ最大磁力でこれに効くピップマグネループ EX
Oh, well, obviously it's a magnet.
Is he gonna tell her to get off the court?
She's doing the laundry right next to the court. So
It's like the origin story of Magneto in Japan.
No, this is like one of those multi things where, you got your tennis court in my laundry. You got your laundry in my tennis court.
it's
You
supposed
can't play
to
tennis,
so
go do laundry.
It's here.
It's rude.
Magnet Loop EX, and it says this is for aching muscles.
I think it's a shoulder
And
thing.
this, I'm not sure this measurement, 150 micro something of gravitational or whatever you.
Oh,
Do we have a scientist on the show that can tell me how you measure magnet strength? Because that's what this is. Something to do with magnet strength. So
like
I guess this was the
I'm
thing for a while. I saw this when I would have like my Japanese customers come to visit. They would have these magnet things on their wrists and stuff like that. I guess the idea is it pulls bad contaminants out of the blood. Is that
Okay.
iron in your blood or whatever?
Is this X-Men 2? What is happening?
Actually, you know what I wish it was? I wish it was the necklace that T'Challa wears to get the Black Panther costume on, because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like it's from Wakanda. It's made out of vibranium. I love it.
So does anybody, do you guys, any of you guys believe that magnets can be therapeutic?
Sure, yeah.
Well, the ads on the internet, and they're not allowed to lie.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
They do it.
Magnetic
man.
anal beads.
Magnetic anal beads.
Yeah.
Magnetic.
I mean,
so Tommy, I'm guessing
That's
that's
actually brilliant, though.
Just
You would
get around.
die. You would die from from
Yes.
No, wait.
I think
You
magnet.
wouldn't need a string to get them out. It'd be it's like polarity.
Kids die all the time from swallowing magnets. You wouldn't want to put that up your butt.
Hey Tommy,
Um,
so I think that means 150 milliteslas.
Milliteslas?
I'm guessing that's what the M means. The T
Okay.
definitely means Tesla.
All right. Well, thank you for the information.
So
Chris
many
Caffey-
small cars.
Yes, Rick Caffey, right. The only problem is that you can only go due north.
Oh.
This is so weird.
All right. So let us go on to the commercial. You guys are doing great. We're going to keep rolling along. here.
Are we, Tommy? Are we really?
Yeah, we are doing great. We're going to go right on. The next one is right after it. So let's just roll on.
Yeah, let's go.
今日も私ああ
Well, this is like a dream I had once.
You got hammered? Anyway.
All right. Well, good thing is it's all Japanese because here's the product right here. But you don't know what they're about to do with it. So let's see if we can get some good guesses initially. Laura, what do you think?
Is it a weight loss yogurt?
Well, you are good, but it's not a yogurt. It is a product directed at not at weight loss, but it's definitely
Bloating?
What? Not bloat? Did you say bloating?
Yes.
You're getting in the right zone. It's not specifically bloating. That could be one of the things it works on, but it's
Pooping?
for what?
Pooping?
Pooping? Yeah, but it's not. There's more to it than that. It's not specifically a medicine. It's not
I
necessarily a
love this
medicine.
back and forth.
All right,
This is
let me
funny.
because I don't want to get.
Pooping?
Let's play the whole. Because I don't think you guys are gonna get it anyway. So let's just keep playing.
Is it
Wow.
for non-medicinal pooping? Just party pooping?
Recreational poop.
Oh, that's my favorite kind
Oh,
of pooping.
recreational pooping?
Let me-
I
let
think
me
we
put
would use
more-
anal beads for
let me-
those.
Party.
And then Desiree.
Boy, talk about scattershot guesses. Anyway.
Oh my god.
シリーズ
That is
最大級のコリークピップアペル VX
Do they have the body shape thing?
Yeah.
And everything's pink for a reason, I think.
Oh, is
Okay.
okay? Is
Is it
it
like-
for your
Is
breath?
it just like a gut health thing?
Yes, it is for gut health, but there's a little bit more to it.
Is it a women's laxative?
You guys are all really close, but there's one other element to it that you.
Fresh breath? Headache?
Is it for pregnant women?
It's not for pregnant women.
Looks
You
like
guys are
like a
right
honey.
as far as like
thing.
it's for
Is
digestive.
it a
health.
women's laxative / salad dressing?
Oh wait, that's not too far. That's not too far away. It's not slash.
How could all these things be close?
Yeah, for real.
These are wildly different things.
Would I dip my Uncrustable in it?
Is it
Getting warmer? It's something. It's definitely something that enhances the food.
Liquid MSG.
So it's ranch dressing. I live in
Oh,
India.
Liquid
this is like
THC?
Hing, like Ajinomoto.
You're-
I see
guys
Ajinomoto
are-
right on top.
Is it an appetite suppressant
No, you were right. You were right in the.
that makes you poop?
But and it's not salad dressing. But it's something else that you can put on
Yogurt. A drink?
Digestion.
No, it already
Is it
works for
beer?
digestion, but there's something else that it brings to the table.
Is
Does
it
it
minty
have
fresh?
alcohol in it?
No alcohol.
Oh, that would be great. I would buy that.
Is it THC
Oh,
infused
All right,
salad?
let me give you a hint. So this
Is
here
coffee?
says 40%.
Like only 40%. So it's like 2%
less
milk,
calories.
less calories.
Oh.
Not 40% alcohol. Okay.
Is it like a
Well, I'm out.
like a low alcohol sake?
Nope.
No. Damn it.
Well, I don't know what else you put on food other than salad dressing. There's nothing else
it is-
anyone
I
puts
don't
on
know.
Low calorie sweetener?
Called
Yes.
sake.
Oh,
Wow.
What is
Rich. Wow.
I
Rich.
kept it took us
Very
so long. Good
impressive.
job.
2 in a
Say
row.
what it is
Uh,
again?
Hey, so it's
This
a
is
low
a,
calorie sweetener / women's laxative?
They were just eating it out of a spoon. You don't have to sweeten a spoon.
For real, yeah.
Okay, so it's made from the root of the sweet
Evil.
potato or some sort of
Oh.
sweet potato additive,
Oh.
and it brings you both. It helps with it gets like some bacteria and fiber in there to keep your stomach
Gut
and
health, yeah.
digestive system. But since it's from starch, it's sweet, and so you can use it
Oh.
to sweeten your you put it in your yogurt, you put it in your tea,
Sounds good.
whatever.
That actually sounds
It's a
awesome.
sweetener
I want
and
that.
digestive health.
No, I don't trust it.
Can we get
Arigato
on
gozaimasu.
And all it
Ariga-
takes is
ariga-
2 teaspoons, you guys. 2 teaspoons.
But
of this
does it
sweetener.
kill rats? That's what we want to know.
And
Only
make
if
you
they
poop.
have- only if they have digestive problems. That's the only one.
Can I put it on chicken wings? Because if not, then we don't want it over here in Indiana.
Yeah.
Arigato gozaimasu, Tommy.
All right. So you're guys. Surish is on a roll here, but Surish, why
He
are
is.
you?
As always.
You're
As
hiding.
well.
He's not showing us his face.
Wait, am I not? Is
Yeah,
my video
you're-
not working?
Your camera. Your.
It's just black screen there.
All right. Let's keep
Ah.
going. Next commercial. Here we go.
Ah.
吉田まだ資料できてないのか
たけしたまには仕送りしろおっさんくせえ
愛をちょうだい
Well, I hate that.
Okay.
I don't think we were supposed to see this.
Is this a lice shampoo?
It is not.
Dan had a guess.
Wait, so okay, first of all, let's start with our guests. Come on, let's be polite, you guys.
Somebody just said it, I think. Okay.
Yeah, Dan made a guess.
Let's do the proper, Desiree, you go first.
I don't really know. It could be lots of things. Those people were hanging on to some sort of tire, it looked like, but I think that looks like a hair follicle. So is it like some weird hair removal system? Because I noticed they had a man and an older woman and also a younger woman. I don't know how the circle tire thing and the yelling related to hair removal, but I'm assuming it did. It seems to be on brand.
You're in the right zone with hair. Laura, did you want to?
Is it a hair plug? Like rather than removing it, putting it in?
It's not a hair plug, but it is definitely a product for hair.
Is it dandruff shampoo?
I mean, it's not dandruff related.
Okay, they're not pieces of dandruff. I'm too artistic for this world. Too deep, guys. Very deep.
Well, I'm just going to give it to you because it is.
It's lice.
Shampoo. It is not dandruff shampoo, but it is a shampoo. So you basically are. But let's just play the video.
What is it?
You were right.
Ah.
It's scalp.
It actually says shampoo.
Well, it says scalp format here, but it really, what does it say? Yeah, it's just scalp care. But it's medicinal. It is medicinal. This right here says medicinal scalp shampoo.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I think this was the most direct commercial we've ever had. Like, cause we watched them through, and they're like, "Well, watch the rest of it. You'll get it." And we're like, "What?" And then now, like, it actually shows it.
All right.
Look how much space the English takes on that bottle. It's disgusting.
All right. I got one more for you here. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, here we go.
I like all my documents at work sent in scalp format.
Okay. We got one more commercial for you guys.
Flips on an
right after this. Wait, actually, let me go full screen, you guys. We gotta go full screen.
English, I like it. I like my chances. It's English.
I wouldn't even win then.
You're probably right.
It's an ad for Space Jam 2.
It has nothing to do with shoes, I'm sure.
Yeah. And coffee.
All right.
Oh, this is for insoles.
Incels or insoles?
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Yes, and
it's for incels with insole problems. No,
that is arch support.
With arch support. Desiree, you want to take a stab at it?
I'm gonna go with a laxative again, but this time the laxative is for everyone, not just women.
Okay. You don't think it's shoes, huh? You're convinced it's not shoes?
There's no way.
It might be shoes, but it looks more like a laxative.
Okay, it might be shoes, but it's probably laxative. Laura, what about you? What do you think this is a commercial for?
I mean, some kind of foot powder or some sort of pain reliever.
Well, like Nico said, oftentimes these commercials have nothing to do with the ad. So.
Oh, well, that helps narrow the field then. How about
Notice I'm horrible at it, so don't take my
foot
advice.
powder?
Is this an ad for the next Star Wars?
Have a
Should I
guess.
replay? Maybe you might get some clues.
Oh,
yeah, no, that'll make it more clear.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is it Godzilla's coming to town?
Oh, okay.
It's an ad for drums, because why not? There's a snare drum in there briefly.
I have a theory.
Yeah.
I noticed in the beginning it says like something about the creative, and it's all these shoes that are different colors. So is it kind of like a shoe polish or a shoe dye or something like that?
No, it's not. It's not shoe related.
Oh, what?
Not shoe
Is
related.
it?
The shoes are a red herring? Oh my god.
They
Is it
are.
an app or service of any kind, Tommy?
It's not an app or service. It is a product.
I think this is it's a necklace brand. Is that
Another.
It's magnets. It's magnets for your shoulders.
Are you guys ready for a hint?
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it
So-
some sort of
Please
product
tell me it's
for
not coffee.
sexual performance?
Look at the context of what's going on here, like where they are.
Wait, this is the same ad?
No.
no, that was
Okay.
editing an ad.
Wait, is that internet?
Is that
Is it
Chicago?
an internet
It
commercial?
says Toyota in the corner.
All right, so look at where they are. What that's what's going on.
They're on the street.
Oh, this is
this
bullshit,
for
man.
runaways?
Is
This
it?
Pep commercial for street children?
Yeah. Well, I saw the Toyota logo.
Used to be
So
on
is it
milk
like-
cartons, now they're on Japanese commercials.
Is it a car commercial?
Oh.
Yes.
Yay,
Wow.
you got it, Eric. It is a Kamar commercial. So you're probably wondering what do the shoes have to do with the car? Well, let's find out.
Yes, we are.
They're happy
Good
they're
job,
not
Eric.
walking anymore.
Yeah. Oh.
And they can drive by the parrots.
Oh, new vid.
Oh, those are small.
Those are
New
cute
Fit.
cars.
But
They're
there's
the
17
size of a
colors.
shoe. That's-
Oh, now I understand the commercial.
Colors of the car. The cars come in 17 colors, and it was the color of the car. And then this is the name of the car, the Vitz.
You can
I
get a
don't-
different one to match your iPhone, like every day of the week.
Would you guys like to buy a Vitz? No.
that comes
No,
with a
I don't
magnet.
buy
I
things
would
that I
buy
don't
a-
understand the commercial on principle.
To me, the problem I have with it, it sounds too much like Schwitz. Like
Yeah.
I'd be thinking I'm schwitzing all day.
Ritz or Fritz, or yeah.
It'd be not fun to be.
what would they market it in America as though? It'd have a different name. It'd be like
Zits.
yeah, perfect.
Because they're
Oh.
little and
Oh, you know what it could be? It could be like Ritz crackers. They have the
Yeah.
cracker.
Honestly, no, they would advertise it still with the Japanese name and just market it to anime fans. And they would sell
Probably.
a billion of them.
They would.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, you need to
Did
chase
you like
them down as
Dragon
a
Ball
sponsor.
Z? You'll love the Vips.
Yeah, exactly.
As seen on the Tommy Feldman Happy Hour.
There we go. Yeah, no, I don't think the Vitz ever took off. This was from 4 years ago. I don't ever recall seeing
no
Vitz.
pun intended.
Yeah. So that was it, you guys. You did a great job. So I think we had what? Surish was 2, Eric was 1, and who was the other? Who was the other
I feel like the rest of us got halves.
Laura, yeah, you
Yeah.
got 2.
Yeah.
So you guys.
Hey, Tommy, anal beads for the win.
2 of us
Now
got
you're
it.
just reading my diary.
This
if
is
it's
not
not
typically like a clean show, but you guys really crossed over the edge.
Is that right? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I'm just.
I said the
We're
word
like,
shit
what?
7
Oh.
times in 2 sentences. Like it wasn't clean from me
No,
forward.
we're not on. This is not network TV. We can do whatever we want.
Any fines we get from the FCC go straight to Tommy, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Say whatever.
Is
Say
that
whatever
a
you
swear
want.
word?
Bet you could Venmo me if I actually had a Venmo, so it's all good.
Standard practices.
Does anybody else want to promote anything else before we wrap up? We got a few more.
I'd like
I'm
to
on a-
promote
Oh,
dental
go ahead,
health.
Laura.
What's that, Nico?
Everyone else was talking, I wasn't, but I'll promote something. I'm gonna show it Dow Comedy Studio, out of Los Angeles, California, with Bobby Oliver and Chris Oliver. They have a really cool comedy club, and they put on a fun show, and I'll be on it tomorrow on Zoom, and it should be fun.
Nice.
All right. And anybody else, Eric or Suresh or Ed? You guys?
Oh,
wanna-
I
Laura
think
was
Laura
saying
had
something.
something.
Yeah, Laura was-
Laura had.
I just said dental health. That was
Oh, dental.
I'm
That's a
glad
good
that
thing
we
to
drew a
promote.
spotlight to it.
You're raising awareness about dental health here. Come on.
Laura was one of the 4 out of 5 dentists, so you know.
it's just
I'm doing a
hobby.
show at.
All right. And
I'm
by the
doing a
way,
show at in like what is it? 2.5 hours. Adriana McCain's Okay So Like show. It's just like a talk show thing.
Oh, and
Cool.
Cynthia writes, I would like to promote Ed Rubin, but I'm not his boss.
Thank you, Cynthia.
There we go. We do read our comments. We do read our comments. I don't know about other shows,
He
but
is
here
awesome.
at Tommy Feldman Happy Hour, we do let the audience participate. So guys, we will be back for people watching. We will be back on the 26th at 5 p.m. as usual. We don't have all the guests lined up yet. If anyone's watching and they really want to come back or come on the show, shoot me a message.
Cynthia.
And guys, have a great weekend. And it was great meeting all of you again and seeing you. And we will be back next week. Give yourselves a round of applause. And can we have maybe some outro music if it's
yes, of
It
course.
was
Hopefully
get all
we don't
Boston
get a
time.
commercial in it.
Not a commercial, but we can start like making the motions because this is a professionally run show and we're not just amateurs here. Here we go.
We're not just amateurs.
Have a great
Guys
weekend,
didn't know
guys.
Tommy's actually
Tommy Feldman Happy Hour. Thank you guys. Good night, everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Night.
Thanks, everybody. You guys were great.
Night,
Thank you.
everybody.